Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United show. Today's video, we've got a little bit of transfer news to talk about. We're mostly talking to Ryan Gravenberch news. He's come out and done an interview which very much suggests he will be forcing a move out of Bayern Munich. We'll also be talking about Alexis McAllister, Moises Caicedo, Harry Kane and a couple other transfer targets surrounding Manchester United. Rumours of us going in for a new goalkeeper, David De Gea's future and more. And also some rumours going on around Qatar. Qatar's bid reportedly coming in at $6 billion this week. Some of the stories on that is take with a pinch of salt sources saying it. We haven't got anything from a tier one source confirming the bid's going to be over $6 billion, but what tier one sources have confirmed is Qatar is still 100% committed to buying 100% of United and believe that their bid will be accepted, and that their bid will come this week, and we will cover that as well. But we're also going to talk about, should Bruno be captain? Should Martinez be captain? Should Casemiro be captain? Should Maguire be captain? Who should be the next Manchester United captain? Let me know in the live chat. Rumours is that Maguire will be stripped of captaincy at the end of the season and very, very likely to be given to Bruno Fernandes, which is very much the right call. Some people say Licha will be a good captain. Some people say Casemiro will be a good captain. They probably would, but I think Bruno's done such a good job of captaincy. And I've referred to this video a few times in some of my previous videos, so I wanted to play it and hope that I don't get in trouble for copyright here. But this is Bruno, and if you can see this is Bruno right at the start of the match. So this is when Manchester United were waiting for their penalty shootout. Turn the sound off. We don't need the sound, but as you can see, like, Bruno's there in the middle. Look at him. He's talking to people. He's encouraging them. He's saying, look, come on. This is a penalty shootout. There's Bruno. He's the one motivating the players. And obviously we win the penalty shootout. But if you scroll back, Maguire is just, I lift up, Maguire is just standing there. Maguire is meant to be captain, and he's just standing in that corner muttering around. There is Bruno in the middle, like just sending words of encouragement to every single Manchester United player, like the real leader he is. And, for me, Bruno's really improved this season. He's really evolved his game under Erik ten Hag, but he's showing that he is the leader of United. He was playing through an injury when he's not there. He struggles so much on the pitch. There's so little leadership when he is there, but not on the pitch. He was like Ronaldo in the Euros. He's leading the game. And Captain Maguire is meant to be the main captain of United and all of that. It's just standing hobbling over the end. It's obvious that the players see Bruno as their captain, Bruno as their leader as well. And I thought that clip there really just highlighted sort of Bruno's leadership as well. And I do think Bruno's kind of shown that he deserves captaincy. Bruno captain, Martin as vice captain. I'd probably agree with that with Nick, because Casemiro doesn't speak fluent English, but apparently Sandro Martinez does. So I'd probably say Bruno captain, Licha vice captain next season. They've got it in them. I think Varane and Casemiro definitely got captaincy in them as well, but I think Bruno's done enough to keep. Bruno's 100% done enough to keep the captaincy of Manchester United as well. I think he's really stepped up and shown some leadership. Should we sign Sabitzer or sign a midfielder? I mean, I'd rather sign a completely new midfielder than Sabitzer, but I think Sabitzer is decent. Bruno back up for 20 million, not going to complain. Still want to see a bit more from Sabitzer. Wan-Bissaka appreciation tweet. We will talk about Wan-Bissaka's, great rise as well. And more as well. But I think a lot of you are agreeing, more Bruno for captain, that Bruno should stay as captain as well. I don't think Maguire could get involved as he wasn't part of the squad. True. That could be a point as well. However, even when Maguire has been part of the squad, we never really see him do what Bruno does here. We never see Maguire. I remember when last season, when things were going really bad, and you'd see Ronaldo in the tunnel speaking to Elanga and pumping up all the players, and Maguire was in the tunnel looking a bit shy. Maguire was captain last season, and you'd see Ronaldo and you'd see Bruno being the leaders in the tunnel. You'd see them doing the captaincy role. I don't think from Maguire we've ever seen him really do a captaincy role. And if Maguire is captain next season, it's an absolute joke. Shouldn't even be it. I mean, he shouldn't have even been captain this season, but I think Ten Hag didn't know the squad well enough to make the risk and change it. He didn't think it was worth it. He obviously gave Bruno the vice captain's armband. And I think Ten Hag come to the conclusion that Maguire needs to be sold. He doesn't really rate Maguire. And that, I think wouldn't be shocked if Lindelof and Shaw start playing over Maguire at centre-back, because Maguire has been dreadful. But I even think, let's say Maguire had a good season. Let's say Maguire plays how he plays for England in a tournament. I still don't think Maguire should keep captaincy, because I don't think he is a captain. And I've said this even when he was good. Even when Maguire's been in good form and that, I don't think he's ever been a captain. I don't think he's ever had that captain's mentality. Like, McTominay cannot be Manchester United captain because he's not good enough and he's not that top level. but McTominay has the personality of a captain. Maguire doesn't. Do you get what I mean? I think it's about ability. Bruno's got the ability and the personality. But Maguire, even if he had the ability, I don't think he's got the personality. McTominay is a prime example. He's got the personality, not got the ability, can't be captain. Martinez is one of those people with the personality and ability. Bruno's one of those people with the personality and ability. Varane is one of those people with the personality and ability. Casemiro is one of those people with the personality and ability. Some people were natural leaders. Rashford's got the got the ability, but he's not got the captain's personality. I don't think De Gea's got captain personality, and I'm not a big fan of strikers, goalkeepers with captain. Bruno, for me, he should be Manchester United captain, next season, and I think he's done more than enough to prove it as well. Maguire should have lost the captaincy last year, or at least half a year ago. And Maguire never been a captain, a bit baffling how he was ever appointed. Harry never organises and no one rallies behind him. Exactly. When have I, tell me when you've ever seen Maguire organising his defence line. Maguire's captain, but he's doesn't even organise the back line, let alone the squad. He doesn't command, he doesn't rally people together. Maguire's never, I've never seen leadership in Maguire. This isn't even about form. This is about actually, do you see leadership in Maguire? Do you see Maguire taking responsibility? No. Does Lindelof look like the commanding to when we look at the centre backs? Yes. I don't think Maguire's ever really had that captaincy naturally in him as well, if I'm being honest with you as well. I think it will probably be Bruno, but I think future captain is Martinez. He reminds me of the tenacity shown of Brian Robson and Roy Keane. Yeah, Lisandro Martinez is my favourite player in terms of just everything about him. I think Lisandro Martinez is that one player in the Man United fan base that I think everyone likes. I think we're quite divided as a fan base. There's a lot of players that I think, people don't like Bruno, people don't like Rashford in the fan base, people don't like Martial. Some people don't even rate Casemiro, but that's very few. Some people don't like Anthony, some people don't like Dalot, some people don't like De Gea. But Lisandro Martinez, I think, is that one player in the Man United fan base where everyone's like, this guy is good. He's the Pope's favourite player. He's, Vidic was talking about today. He's just got the personality, he's got the ability, but he looks so fucking good on the ball. And I think, Lisandro Martinez, he's got the dog in him. He's definitely future captain. Future leader. I think Casemiro could be a captain, but he doesn't speak fluent English, and I think that could be the potential risk. I think Bruno speaks Portuguese and English and Spanish. The three most used languages at Manchester United that pretty much everyone speaks is Portuguese, English, and Spanish. And I think that, communication that Bruno has, but obviously Man United being English. But after English, the second most spoken language is Portuguese. We've got Bruno, we've got Dalot, we've got Fred, we've got Anthony, we've got Casemiro. Obviously, we did have Ronaldo, and then I think it is Spanish. I think we're French-speaking players as well. I don't know if Bruno speaks French. I mean, what can't Bruno do? But I think Bruno is one of those players that I think he's friends with everyone. And I think this is an important thing, in my opinion, when you're a captain of a club, being able to be friends with everyone, being able to communicate with your teammates. Because Bruno Fernandez, and I'm like, he is friends with everyone. I don't know if Maguire's friends with everyone. I see Bruno hanging out with Maguire and laughing, hanging out with Martial and laughing, hanging out with Langer and laughing, with Casemiro and Dave and laughing. Bruno seems to just, I feel get on with every single Manchester United player and hangs out with them and stuff. And I think that, for me, really represents Bruno as also kind of very much captain, likeable guy. We need to sell Maguire and add Kim and Jay to our defence. This is what everyone wants, and this makes sense. I would absolutely love that, but we'll have to wait and see what happens as well. Shall you watch the game between Arsenal City tomorrow, Alice? I will be. I mean, who won't be watching the Arsenal City game tomorrow? I mean, you'd be crazy not to watch it as well. And a true captain gets involved regardless. When has Maguire ever shown true leadership on and off the pitch? Says Alex B. And you're absolutely true, absolutely right. Tell someone, if someone can think of something, because maybe I'm just not remembering something. If someone could tell me an example, Maguire's a leader. Tell me an example of something Maguire's done as a leader. Put it in the chat. I'll be intrigued, because I still to this day remember losing 6-1 to Spurs. Martial got ridiculously sent off with a red card because of Lamella being a twat. And, Rashford's going up to the ref going, VAR, he hit him first. How's VAR? And Maguire saying, Rashi, VAR's looking at it. VAR will be right. Wasn't even bigging up or backing up Martial for being sent off. Rashford and other players were getting right in the ref saying, look, Lamella touched him. Is VAR going to look at this? And Maguire was just well, we'll let VAR look at it and their decision will obviously be right. Well, VAR's a freaking fool, Maguire, and you should know more than anyone that the decisions are half the time aren't right, as well. We'll talk a bit about the Glazer sale and more as well. People say Bruno could be a bit more is a bit too emotional. I get that sense, but I think sometimes you need emotion, even though Bruno can overreact as captain as well. Casemiro, Eriksen's a bit too on Thursday too. Bruno is out injured in a protected boot and crutches, which is not good news. Yeah, Bruno could be injured. So what do? Do you do Eriksen, Sabitzer, and Casemiro, or do you even put Fred in there? Because I thought Fred was very good for us the other day. What would you guys do? Let me know down below. Going ahead for the Tottenham game, I do think Fred could be better suited for the Tottenham game than maybe someone like Sabitzer, just because his ability to kind of win back the ball. And I think Tottenham will be looking to get the ball in the sense of make a response. I think Tottenham have already put out a tweet saying they want to make a response from the game. Against United, it seems to happen that every team gets a new manager bounce just before they play Manchester United, which is so annoying as well. And Captain Maguire is to lead by example and be the first to leave at Manchester United. I think Maguire will leave. I'd be really shocked if Maguire is here next season. He's just not been good enough. He'd be stupid to stay because he won't play. No one wants him here. Like Lindelof and Luke Shaw are almost ahead of him. He is our fifth choice best centre back, and Ten Hag wants another centre back, which shows what Ten Hag thinks of the backup centre backs. He's not wanted at United. I don't think Harry Maguire is, and he's not captain material either. I think Maguire will leave Manchester United as well. As a neutral, I'll be rooting for Arsenal to beat City, as I find it boring seeing City win everything. This is the thing. I don't want Arsenal to win because I want to laugh at Arsenal for bottling stuff, but I can't have the idea of City winning 3 in a row or the treble. So I have to then go with Arsenal as well. With Varane as a silent captain, so my question is now, if you want a silent captain, is Varane or an outspoken captain in Casemiro? Well, I think that Varane and Casemiro both got captain ability in them, but I would just my thought process is very much keep with Sandro Martinez as captain as well. I'm just going to scroll down to the chat because I do want to get into a few stories as well. But do smash that like button up, guys. We've got over 300 people watching. Let's even get 300 likes. Hit that like button if you are Glazers out. We will get into some takeover news in just a second. We will get into news that actually Victor Lindelof could be staying at Manchester United as well, and that Ten Hag likes him and wants to get rid of Maguire, and not Victor Lindelof. Some takeover news, some other general news as well. People don't like Weghorst, but that passion running down to the United fans sliding on his knees to celebrate was amazing. The thing about Weghorst is he good enough to be a Manchester United player? Probably not. Well, he isn't, let's be honest. But has he got the personality? Is he going to give it everything for his club? And if he's only here for 4 or 5 months, is he going to give it his all to do his best? Yes. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you get players that have the ability and you don't think they're great for the opportunity they've got. You don't think they give it their all. But one thing you know when you have without Weghorst is he comes on, he gives it his all. Like, this is his dream. Like, without Weghorst, if someone had said to him a year ago when he's getting relegated with Burnley and preparing a move to Turkey that he'd then be winning FA Cups and Carabao Cups with Manchester United, he would have laughed. He would have said, well, that's obviously not going to happen, is it? Weghorst didn't have a clue, even 4 months ago, that he'd be going to United. We approached him in January and he couldn't believe it. He went on Twitter and announced that he was leaving before it was done. He was like, I ain't turning down going to United. And this guy, Weghorst, who's never won a trophy, just won a Carabao Cup, he's in an FA Cup final, he's at United for 6 months. He knows he's never going to get this opportunity again. He knows he's probably never going to win a trophy again. And he's mesmerised by it. He cannot believe he's playing for Manchester United, because I think sometimes when you sign a player that maybe isn't good enough for Manchester United, they appreciate the opportunity even more, because they're like, oh my God, like, I'm kind of punching here and I'm going to give it my all. I want it to work. I'm going to give it my best. And Weghorst does give it his all. He does give it his best. And he's got that passion and he's got that everything that you want in him. He's just not going to be good enough. But I think you're absolutely right. I think you've got to love Weghorst's kind of attitude and stuff as well. I do think these cautions have gotten into Casemiro's head. He looks a bit unsettled and playing less aggressive of late. I do think that as well. I was going to mention that. I think I mentioned that in my match reaction. I love Casemiro. I think he's been fantastic, but I do think since all these red and yellow cards, it's knocked him confidence-wise back. I remember seeing him going for tackles, but actually start to pull out. He is scared of getting a red, and it's annoying because I talked about this in my video earlier. It seems like Casemiro will do something and get a red, and then someone else will do something and they won't even get, a booking. Or still like Casemiro will do the smallest thing and get a yellow, and Brighton will just be fouling us left, right, and centre. And where are their yellow cards? All over the place as well. The Gunners' heads have gone. I mean, Arsenal's heads have gone. I can't wait for Wednesday's game as well. Maguire usually deflects blame and talks about how he's already made it and proved himself, etc. It's a loser mentality. And this is another good point by Alex here, because I think with Maguire, when he does an interview, as you said, it's always, well, I've done well, we've won all the last games I've played, or I've done well, I've had a good season, or I kept a clean sheet here, or if I hadn't been as bad as, I've been good because Ollie plays me week in, week out. People make out I'm bad, but the manager still picks me. I play all the time, so I can't be bad. Or blame deflecting. Maguire's always blame deflecting. Martinez does an interview and they start praising Martinez and he says, I need to be better. This is Manchester United. I need to be better. Casemiro does an interview, gets praised. I need to be better. I need to be better. Maguire does an interview and gets praised and goes, yeah, I've done this, this, and this. Whereas the best players at United, when they get praised, when they do interviews, they're saying they need to be better. Maguire's saying, I've done this, this, and this, and deflects blame. And again, as Alex said, loser mentality shows he's not doing enough. 300 watching and only 50 likes, guys. So smash that like button. We've got 350 people watching. We want to hit 300 likes by the end of the live stream. So do subscribe down below if you are new as well. And I swear this is the first time Bruno's injured. Bruno never gets injured, but he is out injured. Hopefully not too long as well. And if it's a continuous midfield battle, Fred should get the nod for those matches. And I personally would play Fred versus Spurs. But let me know what you guys would do ahead of the Spurs game. I'm just going to take a quick swig of water as well. People saying Casemiro, Fred to bits, so they deserve it with their recent performance. Eriksen hasn't been up to speed in the last couple of times. Get him off the bench if needed. Potentially, yeah. I mean, would you play Casemiro 10 or Eriksen 10? I think not Casemiro. Sabitzer 10 or Eriksen 10. I think maybe Sabitzer has been more of a 10 as of lately as well. Alice, can you tell us your dream starting lineup for Manchester United? Well, let me do that now, and then I'm going to dive back into the transfer and takeover news. My dream starting lineup for Manchester United next season would probably be, I really like, and I'm trying to be realistic, so I will go David Raya in goal. I really like David Raya. I'm not too bothered about fullback, to be honest. Is this for next season or in general? This is my dream starting lineup in general. Ooh, I don't know. I'll do a realistic dream starting lineup for next season, and then I might do a lineup like just a general team. Now I'd say Martinez, and then I would go with Kim, Min, Jay, of course, and then I'd obviously put in Varane. Why did I forget Varane's name? Don't ask me at all. And then I'd probably get someone like Timber as well. Actually, no, I try and make it realistic, aren't I? Casemiro would come in here, and then his backup would obviously be Moises Caicedo. 100% would be Moises Caicedo. And then, it would probably be Moises Caicedo in midfield, because I just think without De Jong, obviously De Jong is the dream, but if we can't get De Jong, I think it would be him. And then Gravenberch is potentially, just another player that we signed. So that would be two midfielders in Gravenberch and Caicedo. I think keep Bruno as a 10. Keep Anthony on the right. I mean, Victor Osimhen would be the dream. I don't know if Manchester United will be able to get Victor Osimhen, but I just think that, he would be the dream. He would be fantastic, and that would be the dream. I mean, to be fair, swap Gravenberch out for Frankie de Jong, and you've got the general dream. But I'm so tired this morning, so I hope it makes sense. But I think that would probably be my dream approach to the transfer window as well. Arsenal to bottle the title tomorrow. Do let me know your prediction for tomorrow, and the title things as well. Rory Jennings on the disagreement again, not watching Pochettino at his club. I would have had Poch back at Spurs. Rory Jennings, I don't get him. Sometimes he makes some good points, but he is the guy that celebrated Lampard coming back, was so happy that Lampard was coming back because he likes Lampard, but to then not want Poch. And I get why he doesn't want Poch, but Poch is better than Lampard. He didn't want Tuchel, he didn't want Potter, but he did want Lampard, and he didn't want Poch, and he didn't want Nagelsmann. It confuses me, Rory Jennings. Like, what does he want? Does he just want Lampard to run the club into the ground? You're a Chelsea fan. Lampard, isn't that good. He's obviously got his Haaland opinion as well, which he did admit he was wrong there. And I think, like, Rory, he makes some good points from time to time, but he's just like, I think he's so in love with Lampard and Chelsea and that he's got this blindsided loyalty to him. And I think that Poch will be better than Lampard. But, when you've got Nagelsmann available, why are you going for Pochettino, I think? I think Nagelsmann is a fantastic manager as well, which is something I don't get as well. Harry needs to go, and he needs if it needs no it if he wants to play first team football. Yeah, I mean, Maguire's not going to be a regular starter at Manchester United again, let's be honest. Luke Shaw and Lindelof are probably ahead of him in the pecking order. There will probably be another centre-back coming in. He's barely going to play. He's had opportunities to play where he could prove himself to start and play over Varane, but he's not taken those opportunities. He's not been good enough. He's very much a bench player, and if he wants to stay at United, he will stay as a bench player, and he will likely lose captaincy. If we progress in Europa, believe that yellow card would have been cast suspension again. Defo being targeted 100%. Going back to the Casemiro getting yellow cards, going back to Casemiro being suspended, it's 100% feel like he's being targeted. I think people know psychologically he doesn't want to get a card, this, that. I feel that Casemiro is potentially being targeted, and I think referees treat Casemiro very different to other players. If Declan Rice had done the fouls that Casemiro had done, would Declan Rice be getting red and yellow cards? No. If a Brighton player had done the fouls Casemiro had done, would they be getting yellow and red cards? No. Referees don't like United. Referees don't like foreign United players, and players like Casemiro, referees in general will just give them a card, whereas they might not give it to someone like Declan Rice because Declan Rice is so likeable, or a Brighton player is so likeable as well. My phone's just going off as well. One sec. Just checking it wasn't anything important. It's not anything important. That's fine. Continuing on as well, I think Casado would be brilliant. I've always said I wanted Casado over McAllister. I think, that Brighton game, again, confirmed why I want Casado over McAllister, because I always noticed Casado. I do like Mitoma, but I don't think we need him that much. I don't think we need a winger at the moment. I think we need more threat from Sancho, definitely, and we need Rashford to be more consistent with his form. But I don't think wingers like a United priority as much as it might have used to been. I do think in the past, like, wingership would have been a big priority for Manchester United. Lavia would be a cheaper option than Casado. I do like him, but is he that level of Casado? Is he quite ready yet? But again, he is a very good player as well. I'm going to scroll down the live chat a little bit here as well. Scotland Matoma night type hype. I do think Matoma's good, but I think there's a bit of hype around him as well. Lampard, brilliant player, but has proved over and over he's not a top level manager. Exactly. He got where he was because he was at Chelsea as well. And Qatar, why am I yawning? Apologise for that. Well, let's get into the Qatari news. Let's get into news on the takeover. Let's get into the news on Qatar. Let's get into just general takeover news, etc. So, regarding the takeover news, I wanted to get into something that is a take with a pinch of salt sauce. This person's actually got things right in the past, but I think it's just an ITK account. So just do bear that in mind. I do think this could be a take with a pinch of salt sauce. But it was said, and this wasn't the account that said it, by the way. Let me find the account that said it. It was said here, I'm here. Let me zoom in. Now, this is to take a pinch of salt source, 100%. I don't think this is a real source. It was saying, I'm hearing from extremely credible source, Man United will be sold to Sheikh Jassim next week, as his bid was considered to be financially strong, so over 6 billion. There's a rumour going out from someone that has got things right in the past. This Sean guy has got things right in the past, but I think it's a guessing game. I think it's an ITK account, but I don't think he knows anything. But he's saying basically Manchester United will be sold next week, so within the next week, for around 6 billion. Now, what we do know is, although I don't currently believe this tweet, what we do know is Qatar are preparing a bid that's going to be very large because they want the takeover to move, they want the takeover to progress, they want to get on with the takeover, and that Qatar bid will be very large. It was said it will be in around the 6 billion region to try and make things move, and that Qatar are very confident that this third and final offer will be accepted. Theirs will be the strongest bid, and they can fully commit to United. It's also reported that Qatar, one of the reasons Qatar might be doing like this big bid for Manchester United is to make sure they can get in now. If they put in a big bid, if they put in something that the Glazers will accept, it doesn't delay the takeover any much longer, so that what stops delaying their transfer window as well. That was a rumour that's come out. My general thought belief on the situation is the bids are coming in tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. That is the bidding process. I think Qatar's will be the strongest bid. I do think the Glazers want to sell. I've said time and time again, the Rain Group have constantly been saying, look, we want to sell. The aim is to sell. We look at, the fact that the minority investors, why would you want to put a minority investment in Manchester United? It's not sustainable. But two, if you do get a minority investment, the Glazers don't keep that minority investment. That minority investment doesn't go in the Glazers' pocket. That minority investment goes back into the club as well. And my phone keeps freaking ringing. So if they get a minority investment, they get a little bit less money and then they have to spend it in the club. If they get a full sale, they can sell the club, they get all that money, they don't have to spend it in the club. I think the Glazers should surely want the full sale more than the minority investment as well. Alice confused me then when she said I put I'd have Pochettino back at Spurs. Then I double checked and I did say back at Southampton. I thought I wrote Spurs. Did I misread that? Again, I'm really tired today. I've had a stupidly busy week. So if I've misread a chat or mispronounced something while I'm not making sense, it's just one of those days that I'm tired. Like, it's really annoying because I had a little nap and I was like, I'll have that energy for my live stream, and I'm just absolutely knackered as well. Frankie de Jong impossible to coming because him is blood. I don't know if I'm misreading chats or none of them are making sense to me today because I'm tired. But I mean, Frankie de Jong is basically Bumlick in Barcelona. So I think that, yes, Frankie de Jong is becoming unlikely. Transfer window, Kane, de Jong, Kim Min-jae, Osimhen, Bellingham, Timber. Which one is more realistic and which one would you prefer? Probably the first one, in all honesty, because I think centre-back, de Jong and Kane. I just prefer De Jong a lot more to Bellingham. I don't think Bellingham solves our midfield issues as good as Bellingham is. I'm not completely into the idea of buying Jude Bellingham, and people might call me crazy, but I've not been the biggest Jude Bellingham fan as well. Next season, Ten Hag needs to bring Casemiro's psychology up because it could cost us a title charge. I think Casemiro will be fine. I think, again, it's the fact that he got a yellow card. I do think had Casemiro not got that yellow card in the FA Cup so early, and maybe Casemiro's kind of mindset in that game would be different. I think Casemiro, because he got the yellow card, was slightly put off and about going into those tackles in case he got a red as well. I think that played a part. I think had he not got that yellow, psychologically, he could be better. But yeah, I do think there's a psychological issue since Ten Hag's got that yellow card. Oh, I want my drink, but it's all gone. Will Sancho be offloaded? What about Garnacho? Well, let's talk about that. What's going to happen with Jadon Sancho? What's going to happen with Garnacho, etc., etc.? Well, Garnacho is obviously part of Ten Hag's plans. Garnacho will be part of Ten Hag's long-term plans. He's getting a new contract sorted. La-di-la-di-la. He's likely to go to the Under-20 World Cup, which Ten Hag won't be happy about. And we'll see what happens with that. But Garnacho will be fine. He'll be getting a new contract. Bish bash boss. Sancho is reportedly not part of Ten Hag's plans. Ten Hag will be willing to sell Sancho. Ten Hag obviously knows what Sancho is capable of doing and is probably likely to give him one more year just to prove it at the top level. But if he doesn't prove it at the top level, if he doesn't do it consistently enough, if he's not good enough, then I think it's getting increasingly more likely that Jadon Sancho would also be leaving Manchester United, which I think would probably be the smarter move at this time as well. Keep smashing the likes, people. If your place is out, of course, smash that like button. And do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new as well. My phone just won't stop pinging. Why is everyone freaking messaging me? So annoying as well. Roma Lavia is a saint. And he's a very good player as well. He was very good in when Southampton got a result versus Arsenal. Arsenal fans obviously happy with the draw because it's better than the loss, and it is that point. But, I mean, do you know what? I look at this now and I think, Arsenal are going to bottle the league, surely. They dropped a 2-0 win to West Ham when they were playing mad. They dropped a 2-0 win to Liverpool when they were playing, and they played well in the first half. They played crap in the second half. And they literally went 3-1 down to Southampton. I think Arsenal's title charge could be over as well. Frimpong could potentially happen. I don't know how much of a priority right back is because obviously they want to give Delo a new contract. Ten Hag really likes Delo, really rates Delo, but there is rumours of Wan-Bissaka getting a new contract. So I have a feeling with the right back situation that potentially, I don't know what United will do. I don't know if we will sign a new right back despite our interest in Frimpong. If Wan-Bissaka is getting a new contract as well. Delo and Malacia for left back, Wan-Bissaka and Frimpong for right back, and what's Shaw centre back. I still think Shaw's best as a left back, but he can cover centre back because I think Shaw is very good at getting forward, movement, running play, actually creating goals. Like Luke Shaw, even though he doesn't get loads of goals or assists, is always one of our most creative players. Always one of the players that creates one of the most key chances and key passes as well. And I think, while I like Luke Shaw at centre back now, because the last thing I want to see is Maguire at centre back, I feel like we're all in that same place. We're like, we don't want to see Maguire at centre-back. Manchester United, we're going to ask you one thing, and that is not to see Maguire at centre-back. We play better when it's Lindelof and Martinez. We play better when it's Lindelof and Luke Shaw. We play better when it's Lindelof and Varane. When it's Lindelof and Maguire, we play worse. And you know what? I saw a few tweets, and I completely agree with these tweets that I saw. I saw tweets along the line of Fred and McTominay is like Maguire and Lindelof. If you play them on their own, they can be all right. If you play them together, it's not meant to be. Specifically, people were saying McTominay, he brings Fred down. If you play Fred without McTominay, he's better. It's like Maguire and Lindelof. If you play Lindelof without Maguire, Lindelof is better. I think Lindelof has been particularly exciting as of lately as well. And I think, that will be an interesting one to keep an eye on. My phone couldn't just F off, please. Could have chuck it over there. Continuing on, we will get into some more takeover news. So that was obviously said. Now that news on the screen is a take with a pinch of salt sauce. I will say that as well. I think a lot of the news needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. But if I can find it, there was news coming out as well. Obviously, remember, this is a good point here. This will be the last round. Hopefully, Sheikh Jassim will bid 6 billion and get rid of those parasites. Bear in mind, guys, I want to remind you this on the takeover in case you've forgotten. Friday is the last day any parties can ever, and I mean ever, put in a bid for Manchester United. Friday is the final round. That is the final round. And after that, the Glazers have to pick a preferred bidder. We'll go into another round, but have to limit the bidders. This is the final round of bidding, and soon we'll be finding out what happens with the takeover. And as I said, it's hopeful that those parasites go. It's hopeful that Sheikh Jassim offers 6 billion, and reportedly Sheikh Jassim will be offering around 6 billion. And the Glazers the Glazers are looking at the full sale. But just to let you know, we're going to be live Thursday, and we're going to be live obviously Friday as these takeover bids go in to update you on the takeover bids and what could be happening, because these bids will be massive. These are the final bids, and the best bid is getting thrown into that exclusivity period. And I think this is when Qatar go all out, and this is when it could be 6 billion, and this is when they could be like, well, we want to get on with the transfer window. They're going to waste time. Let's pay the money, bish bash bosh. I think Qatar's still aim is to just completely outbid Jim Ratcliffe, but only just above Jim Ratcliffe, just to make sure they're not overpaying for no reason. If Jim Ratcliffe's offering 5, why offer 6 when you could offer 5.4? So you're ahead of the competition, but you're not too far ahead that you're massively overpaying. And the Glazers reportedly are actually annoyed at this takeover that they're not generating more interest, they're not generating more clicks, they're not generating more buyers, and that's because people realise you've run this club to the ground. People realise that financially this is a strong investment, and that to you Glazers is why maybe you're not getting what you want. Neymar and Kane were linked to Manchester United yesterday. You know what? I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to ask you guys, do you want Neymar at United? Fantastic, talented player. Neymar is a banging player, but his injury record is so frustrating that I can't be asked to deal with Neymar. I as good as he is, as good as he can be, is he the right dressing room dynamic? I don't think so, but it's the dressing room. What would you buy? I'm going to ask you people, would you buy Neymar? I guess if Neymar is available on a free, what have you got to lose? Maybe the dressing room, maybe momentum, but I think Neymar is a fantastic player. But I'm with you guys in the sense of, would you buy? He just gets injured so much. I think also he plays left wing. He plays Rashford's position. I think that's the one area we've almost got covered as well. So I personally not been the biggest fan of Neymar to Manchester United. Continuing on with what Sheikh Jassim has obviously been saying as well. News that basically Sheikh Jassim and Surgeon's representatives are waiting for the Glazers to make a decision soon, which will probably be around Friday as well. Obviously, United in 92 Foundation. There was rumours that Sheikh Jassim was at Wembley, but reportedly that was not true. Him and his representatives were celebrating Eid. But I do think, Sheikh Jassim, very confident he could be acquired as the next owner of United. Guys, look, I really hope I am making sense. I'm absolutely knackered today, by the way, as well. 125 likes, so do smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Spurs lost the game, so Man United Spurs is a game Man United can win. They lost 6-1. We lost 6-1 when we lost to Spurs, and Spurs have recently lost 6-1. So Spurs know what it feels like to lose 6-1, which makes me feel better. I have to say, I didn't even watch the game. I literally checked my phone, and it was 5-0 Newcastle. I was like, what? This is nuts. 5-0 Newcastle. And I tell you what, I hope it will be 5-0 United at halftime soon. But we are away from home. I think Spurs will have a response. It will be a little bit more difficult this time as well. Mark P says, all rest on our position at the end of the season. If we get Champions League football next year, we could get actual footballers. I do think getting Champions League football will help United do an approach and get what they want as well. Phil Garnacho will go to Real Madrid. Well, he'll be staying here at United for the next few seasons, but he is more interested in the international duty at the moment, it feels like as well. Could Wan-Bissaka be a centre-back instead? I don't think Wan-Bissaka has the physical capabilities to do that. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think he's a fullback when you just kind of look at the way he's made. But you never know. Ten Hag could try him centre-back, and he could do a job there as well. Any news about Varane? Varane back for probably about 6 weeks, so probably just before the FA Cup final. Another right-back seems a bit of a luxury this summer. We have 2 good right-backs who are already offered different attributes, and I agree. I think maybe next summer you look at right-back, you look at another striker, you look at potential areas that we could have invested in originally and we didn't. But I think this season is very much you need to sign a striker, you need to sign a midfielder, you need to sign a centre-back. Potentially then you sign another midfielder, potentially then you sign another striker, goalkeeper. But yeah, I think, as Alex said, right-back is slightly further down that list. I hope I'm making sense, people. I don't know why I'm so tired today. I hate it. Sometimes I do a live stream and I'm absolutely fine. And then that tiredness hits you where you start speaking, and because you're tired, you sometimes forget your thought process if you're speaking. So I do apologise if that is the case as well. There's not crazy amounts of news today. It's more stories here and there about, Sheikh Jassim, Bruno Fernandez obviously being captain, and Ryan Gravenberch. I do want to get to the Ryan Gravenberch story in a second. If Neymar happened, I'd be very concerned about the Qataris' approach. Yeah, I do think that Neymar is almost done in football. I think it's old. It's obvious. It's Man United have invested on too many old players with injuries in the past. He's a great player. He improves us, but is he in the position we need? No. Is he going to be overpriced? Yes. Is he going to get an injury record? Yes. Do I want him? No. As good as he is, I think I would rather watch Sancho play, and people will laugh at that, and I don't blame them as well. How do we know Bruno was motivating players? Many may have been wondering, as per usual, like Martinez and Casemiro are positive. You can just tell from the video that I think Bruno was motivating the players. I think Bruno is a strong source of motivation for the United players, and I think that those United players really rate Bruno strongly and really have a good level of belief in Bruno. I'm quite behind on the live chat, so I am going to have a look. Real Madrid are losing 2-0. Who are Real Madrid playing today? Real Madrid to Girona. Ooh, Real Madrid aren't having a good game. Hopefully they bounce back and pump Man City. I tell you what, Real Madrid need to win more than anything. Real Madrid need to win more than anything. We will talk about the Tottenham Manchester United game probably in tomorrow's live stream, but do let me know your predictions for Tottenham Manchester United. I was going to do something on my laptop. Oh yeah, I was going to get the Gravenberch news up. So I wanted to talk about Ryan Gravenberch to Manchester United and some things Ryan Gravenberch has said in an interview, which I think suggests his kind of desire and interest in going into United. He kind of wanted to leave Bayern, but he wasn't that super interested. And then as soon as he heard Manchester United were interested in him, Ryan Gravenberch's desire to leave Bayern is almost double, triple. Like, he just seems to want to leave. And it was said, this is what Ryan Gravenberch said in training. He said, when he was asked about being linked with United, he said, training and playing at the top level for a year is instructive, but it has to change next season. I really want to play week in, week out again next. I haven't spoken to the board yet, but it's clear that this role does not match. And he obviously got offered a role when he joined Bayern Munich about how much he's going to play. And they've not really matched that role. And Gravenberch is making it very obvious he wants to leave. He wouldn't be saying this publicly. He wouldn't be speaking out publicly if he didn't want to leave. We know that Ten Hag is interested in Gravenberch and wants him, and we know that Gravenberch would be open to rejoining Ten Hag, because Ten Hag was like realistically the first manager that really, gave Gravenberch his chance. And when Bayern signed Gravenberch, we all thought they signed a bargain. We all thought they signed a steal, and they've not utilised him right. Maybe Gravenberch is just another Donny van der Beek. He cannot do it in the big leagues. But maybe Gravenberch is the player that when he's coached, when he's led properly, you know what? Things happen. And you know what? Talking to Donny van der Beek, it really upsets me and it really hurts me that Donny's got injured so early into the season. And, this would have been his chance playing his injury, because I do think this could have been his redemption time, having a few run of games in that deeper role. And I think that is incredibly sad that Donny has been injured as well. Guys, make sure you smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new as well. Gravenberch could be a clever bit of business. Ideal attributes for an 8. We need Erik ten Hag should be able to unlock that. Yeah, 100%. Gravenberch has got everything we need to be an 8. I think maybe we just need a Casado to go with him to really provide Casemiro some backup. But I do think that Gravenberch would be brilliant. Gravenberch and Casado will be fantastic as well. Bruno will be a big miss. Yeah, Bruno will be a massive miss, and hopefully Bruno's injury is just precautionary and they're not doing anything as well. I just can't believe Real Madrid are losing just before they're playing Man City as well. But people, I am going to have to end the live stream here about 10 minutes shorter than usual, because for some reason I'm just absolutely knackered today. And I feel like if I just continue to talk, I'm going to just do something silly, like fall asleep or just start blubbering and saying things that don't make sense. So I kind of want to summarize this live stream by saying Bruno, I believe, should stay as captain. Maguire should be stripped as captain. Ryan Gravenberch desperately wants out of Bayern Munich. I think he's pushing for that move. I think he's in the process of pushing for that move. And I think that he will potentially leave Bayern Munich because he's desperate to go. He's obviously very interested in United because obviously his relationship with Ten Hag, and he's got United, Liverpool and Arsenal all interested in him. And obviously reports that Qatar are making a secret offer, and their bid's going to be over $6 billion. I believe that Qatar have the money. I believe that Qatar's third and final offer will be big. And I think that Qatar are likely to be chosen to go into the final round of bidding, which is the exclusive negotiation period. But we have to wait and see. You don't know what the Glazers' intentions are. We have a lot of journalists reporting that the Glazers will leave, but we don't know what their intentions are, which is the frustrating thing. But guys, I just want to say thank you for watching today's video. Do smash that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Ostenhem would be great, and we do need lots of strikers. But yeah, smash the like, smash the subscribe. I'll see you next time, and bye.